Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys had a week full of love, laughter, and of course, a little sarcasm because we need sarcasm in this world. So, in today's video, we are going to talk about the most underrated horror movies of the 1980s. I'm an 80s kid. I had to go there first. So, why don't you guys sit back, watch the video, give me a thumbs up, and let's see what my list of these underrated classic horror movies from the 1980s are. Okay? So, join me. Let's go on a little adventure. Okay, guys, let's get started. Big warning, spoilers ahead. If you haven't watched these movies and don't want to know what they're about, stop the video now, go watch them, then come back. Let me know in the comments. So, the first one I'm going to talk about is called Night of the Creeps, and it came out in 1986. Now, this movie I find interesting because it starts one way and then it definitely goes a different way. So I like movies that, they start here and then they take you on a little adventure and then by the end you're like, oh, I didn't even realize that's what it was going to be about. Okay, so the movie starts out with this couple in a car in the 1950s and, the thing about that, making out, whatever. Big light in the sky, guy goes to check, gets invaded by some kind of slug thing through his mouth. Jumps a bunch of years into the future, two college kids. Some weird things start going on. Start seeing little slugs everywhere. Point is that when the slug enters people's bodies, or dead bodies in this case, it reanimates them. So we have these two college kids trying to fight these off with an old cop. I like this movie because of the special effects. Obviously in the 80s, great special effects, no CGI, everything was just done normal. No computers, nothing. Regular old special effects, the makeup. There's this one scene where like the bus kind of careens off and people die and all the slugs go in there and all these reanimated corpses go to pick up the girls for the prom. Really bad. I mean, not bad in a bad, that the movie's bad way, bad as in all those jocks and sports guys are now zombies, basically. So if you like a good zombie movie, kind of like a possession zombie movie kind of thing, you definitely need to watch Night of the Creeps, okay? The next movie on my top choice list here is called Return of the Living Dead. Oh yes, Return of the Living Dead, that came out in 1985. Now I have to actually admit this. I saw this movie when it first came out in the movie theater. At least the first 20 minutes of the movie. There was a scene that definitely gave me a really big jump scare, and I spent the rest of the movie in my mom's lap. But I watched it years later, so it's okay. Now, Return of the Living Dead is your typical zombie movie. There's a guy working at a factory, and his boss is telling him this story, how Night of the Living Dead was based on actual events, and shows him this canister. They hit the canister, the smoke comes out, big mess. There's a cemetery nearby. Coincidence? I think not. And then, of course, all the reanimated zombies are just after people eating their brains. I love this movie because it not only scared me as a kid, when I watched it later, a little bit older, I loved the special effects. I loved the characters. I loved, the resolution of the problem, which basically they threw this big H-bomb in the city and everybody died. I mean, what else are you going to do with a zombie apocalypse, right? So why don't you guys check out Return of the Living Dead, okay? Let me know in the comments if you guys checked it out. You're a teenage boy. You have early acceptance into college because you happen to be a genius. Your best friend is a robot that you designed called BB. And the girl next door is always looking at you. Sounds pretty good, right? Until everything goes south. The next movie on my list is called Deadly Friend. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Deadly Friend, does the neighbor go crazy? In a sense. Okay, so we have this young character. He goes to college. He's early acceptance because, he's a genius. He has his best friend that's a robot that he designed called BB. During the movie, the robot gets destroyed. And he's feeling, like he lost a friend. But then he has the girl next door who becomes his friend. And as their relationship develops, he notices that her father is very abusive. And one night, his abusiveness goes a little too far, and she gets hurt and winds up in the hospital. He devises a plan to kind of bring her back because she's basically brain dead, and her father has signed papers to take her off life support. He designs a plan to insert his old robot's brain chip into her brain, hopefully to bring her back. And of course, in any horror movie, by Wes Craven, by the way, man's a genius, may he rest, everything just goes sideways. Because she does end up coming back, but having a robot chip in your brain, it's not really going well. So she's acting like the robot at some points, and acting like she used to act at some points. So by the end, actually, I'm not going to tell you the end. You're going to have to watch Deadly Friend. Came out in 1986, guys. Watch Deadly Friend. You'll love it. Trust me. It's a good movie. A couple of jump scares, but you'll love it. All right, guys. The next movie on our list is on this list for two reasons. Number one, it is a masterpiece that is truly underrated. And two, it's by my favorite author. Well, actually based on the book by my favorite author, Stephen King. Stephen King, you're the man. This one is called Silver Bullet, and it came out in 1985. Silver Bullet's main character is Marty, and he is in a wheelchair. He's paralyzed. His sister takes care of him. I mean, she's a teenager. Obviously, she's not going to like always having to take care of her little brother in a wheelchair. Now, what's going on in town? Lots of killings. Nobody knows what they're attributed to. All they know is that there's some kind of serial killer in town. Everybody's afraid. There's a curfew. But, nothing has been done about it. We later discover that the killings are actually caused by a werewolf. Young Marty, one night, on his motorized wheelchair, he has a motorized wheelchair, that's how he gets around, is shooting fireworks and comes across the werewolf. He injures the werewolf and basically zooms home on his little wheelchair. No one believes him, except for his sister. His sister finds out who the werewolf is, and the werewolf obviously has to get rid of them because it turns out to be, I'm not going to tell you because you have to watch the movie. No spoilers. Stephen King, he's, I call him the master of horror. He takes a story and you get involved in the characters' lives, and you're always like, okay, you can do this. Yes. He's just amazing. So please watch Silver Bullet, based on a Stephen King story. Okay, guys? You're going to love it. Let me know in the comments when you watch it, because I know you're going to watch it, and if you like it. Okay? Did you guys hear that? Is there a noise coming from the sewer? What is that? You're just walking down the street and you hear the shuffling and this noise coming from the sewer? Are you thinking maybe it's just raccoons? Rats, maybe? Well, I don't think it's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. No. You know what it is? It's the Chud. What's the Chud? I know you're asking. The movie Chud that came out in 1984. Chud stands for Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dwellers. How did I know that? I watched the movie. So we have this couple living in the city, and one of them is a reporter, and he starts to do a story on a homeless lady. And the homeless lady leads them into a series of tunnels under the city, within the sewers. And this whole plot develops that there are these creatures living also in the sewers under the city, basically killing people, taking them for food. And another big reveal is that these creatures weren't always creatures. They were actual homeless people that turned into these creatures because they came across radioactive waste that the mayor knew was being dumped under the city. Exactly. See? Politics. Always. This movie is really good. It's got really good old-time special effects. I mean, high level. No CGI whatsoever. It's 1984. Of course, there's no CGI. I mean, it keeps you guessing. It gives good jump scares. I always say that if a movie makes me jump 3 times, it's good. That is the way I go. But really, if you want to get some popcorn, sit down with some loved ones, adults, no kids, please, and just want to get scared, watch Chud, okay? You're going to love it. Could you go for a snack? Do you want that Frosty, maybe from Wendy's, a nice yogurt, some Cool Whip maybe? Not after you watch The Stuff from 1985. You're never going to want to touch any yogurt, Cool Whip, whipped cream, anything that looks like cream ever again. So the stuff is obviously a product called the stuff. Everybody loves it. Everybody eats it. They can't stop eating it. They go to the groceries. Everybody's running out. They can't keep up with the demand. But then people start acting crazy, turning into kind of little, some kind of like, I don't want to say zombie, but some kind of spaced out crazies. And then this reporter, or I should say this mercenary, kind of figures out that it's all attributed to the brand, the stuff. Turns out that the government is the one behind selling the stuff because they found this meteor site where this stuff was coming out of the ground. Someone tasted it and said, "Whoa, we should bottle this and sell it," without even testing it or getting it past, the FDA, I guess, whatever letters those are. So the whole movie is about, the people finding out what this stuff really does and people just craving it and basically going crazy over it and killing people over it and just want to eat the stuff. The title is like genius, the stuff. I can't even stress that enough. So the stuff from 1985, check it out. Another underrated gold mine of a horror movie that also keeps you guessing. You're thinking, oh, okay, it's yogurt. No, it looks like kind of like Cool Whip. Is that whipped cream? What is the stuff? Until in the end you find out that it's actually alive. Exactly. Aliens. Watch the stuff, guys. You're going to love it. All right, guys. Last movie on my list. It's called They Live from 1988. And it stars Rowdy Roddy Piper, wrestler. You guys know who I'm talking about. This is a pretty good movie. I really enjoyed it. I mean, you see movies nowadays. John Cena's in them. The Rock's in them. But the original guy in a good horror movie is Rowdy Roddy Piper. He definitely played this part well. Okay, so They Live is basically his character goes into a city. He's looking for work. He doesn't have anywhere to stay. He gets hooked up with some people that can help him. He starts working construction. And he notices that there's weird things going on at a nearby church. So he goes there to find out what's going on and notices that, they're carrying boxes in and out. And, people's curiosity. What's in the box? What's in the box? I know what you're referencing to. Don't. So he steals one of the boxes and finds them full of sunglasses. And he's like, why are people going crazy over sunglasses? So he's like, well, I'm just going to take one and dump the rest of the box. He takes the sunglasses and puts them on, and then notices that when he puts them on, everything changes. Like, people are not people. People look weird. The billboards look weird. Like, they're not regular billboards. They're like messages. So basically, there's been this whole colonization of Earth, and humans don't know about it except a small group of rebels, Star Wars reference, that know that these aliens have come to Earth and they colonize it, and nobody's doing anything about it. So he hooks up with them. They basically blow things up. The best thing about this movie is the one line that he has where he says, I am here to chew bubblegum and kick. Can't say that word. Don't worry, YouTube, I'm not going to say that word. Starts with an A. But, I mean, it's a really fun movie. I don't find it particularly scary because it's more sci-fi, but it has a really good plot. He acts wonderfully in the movie. And you guys should definitely check this one out, okay? It's called They Live, 1988. That was my list of the most underrated horror movies of the 1980s. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope that you watched these movies and let me know in the comments. Now, if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications, and please, guys, give me a like. It helps the channel a lot if you guys give likes, if you share. Just all the likes will help me bring you guys more content, okay? Okay, now remember, from my heart to yours, put some love out into the universe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.